Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Kevin with Optimized Essentials, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to finally change your life, okay? Now, I say this with a bit of hesitation because I know for not everyone watching this will be the video for them, but I also know that this could be one of those videos that provides the essential tools and awareness that you need to begin the process of actually finally making the changes that you absolutely need to make in order for you to live the life that you want to live. Now, let me preface all this by saying I've spent a lot of time working on myself, a lot of time battling, getting rid of bad habits, bad behaviors that keep me from becoming and progressing towards my goals. And I'm sure for you, this is the same, right? There are certain tendencies, there are certain habitual patterns, there are certain ways of being, certain thoughts that you have, certain emotions, certain ways of, living that just do not live up to your expectations. And in today's video, I am going to be sharing with you all of the things, or at least the core essence, the core essentials that you need to begin the process of finally changing your life, okay? So with all that being said, let's get right into it, baby. How to finally change your life, okay? Now, these things do not happen overnight, all right? As much as Tony Robbins says change happens in an instant, it can, meaning you can make the decision to change, but the process of changing is often a gradual one. Unless something very traumatic or instantaneously happens to you, you hit that sudden event where you get in a near-death experience, you get snapped out of your hypnosis, or you go to a very powerful immersion event like Tony Robbins' seminar and he snaps you out of it. I don't know, maybe something like that will help change you in an instant. But for me, change is a gradual process, right? You could make the decision to get in shape, but you still need to get your ass to the gym and put in the weights, put in the reps again and again and again and again, okay? So there's 6 things I want to share with you today. And these are going to be the steps to start taking, things to start becoming aware of, things to start implementing so that you can finally change your life, okay? Number 1, you need to have an ideal, right? I-D-E-A-L, all right? Now let's break this down. What do I mean by ideal? You need to have an ideal version of yourself, meaning an ideal person that you want to become. You need to have a vision, a hope, a dream, an aspiration for your life, okay? Now, why is this so important, okay? The cliche thing is you need to know where you're going or any road will get you there, meaning you need to know when you go on into your car, you need to have in your GPS a destination. You need to know what exactly it is you want, who exactly you need to be, and what exactly you want to be doing with your life. If you don't know this, you don't know any road will take you there, meaning you'll go here, you go there, you go everywhere until one day you'll find yourself living on the streets, living the life that you do not want, and then you come back and you reflect and you ask yourself, what is it that I actually want out of this life? That is when you become conscious, right? You've gone so far off track, you've been in so many trenches, you've been in so many pitfalls, so many holes, that you finally come to the awareness and you ask yourself the question, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? And then you find your ideal. So let's break down what the ideal is. I-D-E-A-L. There's an I, which is you. There's idea, which is the idea of what do I want to do, right? I have a vision for myself. The vision, there's an idea. It starts with an idea. It starts with a thought. It starts with an ultimate vision. And this is something you have to constantly refine. This is something you have to constantly explore, something you constantly have to experiment with and try and revise over and over again, okay? Meaning your passion, your drive, your goals will change from one minute to the next. The very first thing of an ideal for most people could just be getting in shape, losing weight, and doing what they need to do to improve their health, right? And the 6 foundations of health, for me, that I shared is, right, there's hydration, there's nutrition, there's sleep, there's movement, there's thoughts, and there's a drinking, and there's a breathing, okay? These 6 things all contribute to optimum health. It could be, your ideal could be getting any one of these down. And once you've mastered your health, now you're in a better place to know who you are, what you enjoy doing, and actually having the energy to do it. So you need to have a vision, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger always talks about, you need to have a vision for yourself, right? Otherwise, you're just floating around. Otherwise, the wind will just blow you there, blow you here, blow you everywhere, and you will be wasting your time. You need to have something that anchors you into point A to point B. You need to know where point B is. I would even say point A to Z. Z, and then there's all the steps in between. So you need to know your final destination, at least the ultimate ideal version of who you want to be. And if you don't know, your very first goal is to figure that out, okay? You must have this. And ideally, here we go again, that needs to be from a place of love. It needs to be a heart-centered goal. It has to speak to your heart. It has to give you emotions. It has to give you a strong reason to do it, okay? My reason, my principles, my heartfelt desire is to help improve mankind, to help heal the sickness, the disease, the obesity, the stress, right? And it all started with just me becoming a personal trainer, seeing that people have bad posture, finding that I'm passionate about holistic health, finding that I love teaching, and then all of that meshed together, right? It became my ikigai, which I made a video on, right? The Japanese secret to longer, more fulfilled life. That became my ikigai. That became something I became passionate about. That became my calling, my purpose, and maybe it might change in the future. I don't know. But my ideal is I want to master the 6 foundations of health. I want to be the best version of myself. I want to max out on my genetic limit. All of this calls out to me. And when I'm living a certain way, like bad behaviors, bad habits, and I compare that to who I can become, there's a huge discrepancy, and that goal creates a vacuum, and it pulls me there, right? There's also push motivation. You do need to push yourself, but you also need to pull. You need that goal to pull yourself. So you need the ultimate combo. Pulling is gonna be a strong motivation. You also need to push and pull, and you have the ultimate momentum. Bam, I just dropped with you the secret to motivation, which I'll make a video on as well. So that's number 1. Number 2, you need to develop awareness, okay? Awareness is key. It is the precursor to change. It is the foundation in which everything else exists, all right? If you study any type of ancient practices, if you study any type of Eastern medicine or any type of Eastern philosophy, they say that consciousness, right? That we are fundamentally consciousness from the get-go. Now, speaking of consciousness, I need to check if I'm actually filming because, okay, good. I have a tendency to get afraid that I'm on a roll and I'm talking about stuff that, and I don't want to find out I'm 30 minutes in. But you need to develop awareness, okay? Consciousness, right? That awareness behind the eyes, behind the screen of your existence, the sensations that you're feeling in your body, that awareness of being able to willpower and dictate and choose certain things you want to do. I'm moving my hand with my soul, my spirit, my awareness. That awareness is the core essence and the foundation in which everything is built upon. The more aware you become, the more enlightened you are, okay? The more aware, the more in touch with your essence, the more enlightened you are, and you realize all that you are, all that ever was, and all that ever will be, and you are in touch with the source of creation, God, universe, consciousness within. The more you can become aware, the more you can shine light on the darkness, the shadow. It does not mean that the shadow will not exist. It will exist. It still exists. The unconscious will still exist, but you learn to integrate it, right? Carl Jung says, until you make the unconscious conscious, meaning until you make the dark, bring the light into the dark, you are going to live the rest of your life believing it's fate, all right? Which I'll go into as well. So awareness allows you to become deeply present and aware of what is going on, okay? Meaning if you are running a certain pattern, you see something or you smell something or you hear something and that triggers a pattern within you, meaning I smell the perfume of pizza or coffee and My inclination is I go eat pizza. I must eat pizza. Each time you get triggered, each time something happens, there's two things that can happen. You get an impulse, you get a sensation, and you get pulled away, right? Literally, you get dragged. Or you develop consciousness, awareness, and you see it happen, and you're like, no, right? I see it, it arises, I will choose because I am conscious. The more conscious you become, the more space you have. Now, again, this is not easy. I've shared this with my How to Program Your Subconscious Mind. This is not easy at all. You can see, you can become aware, and you can, observe yourself, observe the sensation, the impulse come up, but you will still act on it because of the unconscious conditioning, which we'll talk about later. But basically, you want to become aware of all of the conditioning, all of the unconscious programs, and all the layers of BS, right? BS could mean two things: layers of bullshit, which I'm going to use, and also layers of belief systems. From the moment you were born and until now, there are layers upon layers and layers of BS, either from your family, your mom and your dad telling you, you won't amount to anything, you're lazy, you're undisciplined, you don't know what you're doing, you're always selfish, or it could come from you telling yourself that, oh, I'm this, I'm a loser, no one likes me, I'm always alone, no one believes in me, I have no friends. All of this gets repeated, right? Over and over again, especially if you get bad results, as in like, let's say when I was in school and I was a child, a kid, and I did bad in science or I did bad in school, I would tell myself, oh, I'm not good at school. I hate education. I hate school. I just suck at learning. I can't learn. I'm a slow learner. I have this and this. I have dyslexia. Once you've allowed that inside of your mind once, and then you believe it, belief systems, it becomes a layer of bullshit, okay? Because of this. If I believe that I'm slow, that I'm stupid, that I have bad grades, I wouldn't spend so much time doing self-study. I wouldn't get the results that I get in fitness or in personal development simply because I believed it, right? But I realized, through awareness, conditioning, that my unconscious conditioning was that I don't necessarily suck at education or learning. I may suck at school because algebra, chemistry, history is a load of horseshit that doesn't improve my life practically in any way. So when I became aware of that conditioning and I became that I can actually learn really quickly and I can learn very efficiently and effectively if I have a certain standard of protocol that I enjoy engaging in, that I enjoy learning about, like learning how to improve my awareness, learning how to program a subconscious mind, learning about law of attraction and the power of the mind. I love this stuff and my heart catches on fire when I listen to this stuff. So when I engage in these practices and I'm aware that my conditioning, my unconscious programs or my belief systems aren't actually the programs that are going to help move my life forward, the more aware I can become of this, the more I meditate. This is how you develop awareness, by reflecting, by journaling, by reflecting on your life and the type of programs that you have running, by the results that you're getting in your life, by the thoughts that you're thinking, by the things that you talk to yourself or say to yourself, the self-sabotage, the negative self-talk. By examining those, by reflecting on those, you develop your awareness. Because each time you train your awareness, it's like, wow, I'm watching myself do this again. This thought is popping up again. I'm doing this again, and it's not working. The more aware you become, the more space you have ultimately, because awareness is all that you are. Feel your body right now and listen to my words. Awareness is all that you are, all that ever was, and all that ever will be. Boom, you are enlightened. That is what being enlightened means, all right? You don't suddenly become enlightened. You don't have like star strikes you and you're enlightened. No, you realize your awareness the whole time living in a body, right? A spiritual being living in a body. When I listened to that in college, taking a world philosophy class, I became super aware, right? Zone in on my camera, zone in on the face, and just become present. Become aware. You are awareness. You are enlightened right now. I have just enlightened you. And the more you can stay with that presence, right? That's why they say live in the present moment, mindfulness. The more you can be present and watch those unconscious patterns become up, which again is not easy. Sometimes you'll just snap at people like you do with family, right? Family is the most unconscious part of our aspect, right? Because you just run, pa, 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 pa. It just happens, okay? So that's awareness right there, right? Become super deeply aware, and you train it through awareness, right? Awareness training. And you reflect, meditation, journal, introspect. You must become aware of the conditioning that's running your life, the unconscious programmings, and the layers of BS, layers of bullshit and layers of belief systems that you fed yourself through self-talk, other people's talk, and what you watch, what you consume during the media, okay? Now, with all these, with number one and number two, with the awareness that you are running certain conditioning and programs, that's still not enough, okay? You have to understand why these programs are running. Let's say, for example, my biggest issue was I was a pot smoker and video game addict, right? And then every now and then I still find myself going back to pot, you know, not smoking, but taking edibles. And I kept on trying to figure out, I was aware of the fact that I was repeating the same habit, but I didn't know why I couldn't stop. Similar to the person who always finds himself in the same relationship, always finds himself eating junk food to comfort themselves, which I've done, right? Eating food, going out and buying junk. I haven't done it to the point where it's like I become obese, but it's definitely become an obsessive, compulsive pattern. But the problem that I had, the biggest problem that I had was repeating the habit of getting high, right? Altering my consciousness. And I realize it's because I'm trying to meet a need, all right? Unmet needs. If you haven't watched my video on how to truly be happy, I explain this, right? There are human needs, just like there are physiological needs of the body. When your body is nutrient deficient, you are malnourished, you are nutriently deprived, your body will have certain symptoms, right? Your hair might start to get brittle. Your nails might start to get brittle. Your skin might start to get flaky. You might start to get rashes or skin issues or some sort of digestive issues, or your eyes, your visions, your teeth, your cranial structure, your face, right? All of this is going to show up as a symptom of malnourishment. So when it comes down to why you're repeating the same habit over and over again and you can't stop, it's because that habit, that behavior you engage in, whether it be excessively indulging in sex, whether it be excessively indulging in food, whether it be excessively watching videos, watching pornography, whatever bad habit, bad behavior that you're engaging in over and over and over again to stimulate and to pleasure yourself, it's because you are trying to meet a need. It's an attempt at self-love, right? You are doing your best to make yourself feel good, but in all of the wrong ways, okay? And when I came to that realization, I was mind fucking blown, okay? Because it's one thing to realize it, but then it's also another way to realize the deepest truth and core essence, the root of what is going on. And when I made this realization, I kept on working on how can I meet my need in a better way. The need that I was meeting when I was using cannabis, right? When I was watching pot, or when I would go out and buy a bag of potato chips, or go out and get some Chipotle, or go out and eat some, some drive-through food because I was by myself, or because I spent too much time alone trying to make my business go up, or trying to will myself to do something that I don't want to do. Every time I, spent too much time neglecting my higher self, my true needs, right? My need for love, my need for connection, my need for self-esteem, right? To better improve my business, get results in life. When I'm not meeting these needs, I'm going to try and find connection through mind-altering substances, through stimulating myself through videos or watching documentaries on spirituality, right? That's why there's people that call it spiritual bypass. You're using spirituality as a way to bypass your needs. It doesn't work this way, guys. You're a human, right? You want to eat food, but you don't just want to eat any food. Your body prefers whole foods. You need to eat the rainbow. You need to eat the different colors. You need to have your micronutrients, your macronutrients. And if you don't get these needs, your body is going to be deficient. You are not going to feel happy, and you are going to try your whole life trying to eat and eat and eat. That's why when cows and chicken and pork are fed grain or soy that are nutriently deprived or nutrient deficient, or it's void of nutrients, meaning these crops have been GMO'd and modified and created in a way mass produced where the soil has no nutrients, it's depleted, and the crops are empty crops, it has no nutrients. The animal just keeps eating and eating and eating and eating and filling itself up because it's depressed and it's stressed and wants food, but that food has no nutrients. So when you're eating hamburgers and Cheetos and potato chips and you're eating a bunch of shit that has no nutrients, you're going to get fat, your body is going to be empty, it's going to be stressed out, it's going to be inflamed, and you are going to be sick, sad, stressed, depressed, upset, and you're going to be like, what is going on? Why am I so sad? Why am I repeating the same life? Why can I not change my life despite wanting to? That is key. That is powerful. So you have to understand, what are my unmet needs? And if you don't know, watch Tony Robbins' 6 Human Needs on TED Talk. He articulates this so beautifully, right? Watch his 6 Human Needs. I also created, right, How to Truly Be Happy. When I'm doing these, it's a formula, right? There is a path to happiness. Happiness is not the way. There is a way to happiness, all right? There's a way to happiness, and happiness is also the way. But I explained in that video that there are certain needs that we need fulfilled, and not just fulfilled, ideally fulfilled to the highest potential, right? All 6 human needs need to be fulfilled in order for us to truly break free of our subconscious behaviors. Because think of it this way. Would you rather drive a shitty Honda Civic, or would you drive a Lamborghini, etc., Toyota, or Toyota versus a Tesla, or a Honda Civic versus a Lamborghini? One of the best cars you can ever imagine. Well, that's basically what an unmet need is. You're driving a shitty, low-quality car, and you keep driving it, not trying to figure out, like, why is my car so shitty? Why can't I get out of this car? It's because you haven't experienced it. Once you've experienced the higher needs, it's like driving a better car. Once you've been fulfilled and filled up with love and joy and peace, higher emotions, once you've experienced the lighter side, the higher ethereal realm, right, of spirituality, of real emotions, elevated emotions, of good food, when you've been with a true loving partner, someone who rocks your boat, versus someone who gives you headaches and always cheats on you, when you've been with this and you see this, you're like, no, why would I ever want this ever again? That is how you change. That ideal version, you have to have, 1, want it, you have to 2, taste it, and you have to be able to constantly contrast and experience the polarity. And you will always choose the higher self, the better self, versus the lower self, all right? Doesn't mean you won't give in to your lower self every now and then. We're only humans, but the more you can taste and be here, the less you'll want to be in hell, right? The more you're in heaven, the less you want to be in hell. Bam! Okay, that's number 3, unmet needs. Number 4, recondition and reprogram, okay? Now that you have an ideal, now that you are aware of the conditioning, the unconscious programs and the belief systems, and you are aware of your unmet needs, right? Needs that aren't being met. Now it's time to recondition and reprogram yourself. Now, how do you do this? You do this by, 1, having an ideal, something you want to work towards, but also 2 things. You need to reprogram through affirmation, self-talk, and you have to do it through physical action, okay? Literally, you have to change your physiology, your physicality, okay? Your body. That's why martial arts, that's why weightlifting, that's why engaging in physical activity, especially in today's society where everyone's fat, stressed, depressed, it's so important to change your physicality, because I didn't become confident and more masculine out of nowhere. I worked on it day after day after day and after day. Now, am I always this way? No. If you catch me on the street, I'm a nice guy. I'm not going to lie. I'm not always like this. This is a way I present myself to the camera to communicate with you. But if you catch me on the street, I'll probably be a nice, chill guy that no one doesn't really recognize. But my commitment, my ideal is to be the best man that I can be. It's to be the most masculine man that I can be, with the balance of feminine, of course. And it's to be able to present and project myself to whomever, wherever, and however I want, whenever I want. And I want to be the ideal version of myself. So I do this by constantly reviewing and affirming to myself. There's a good right and wrong way to do affirmations of what I would like to be, that ideal that I'm working towards, right? That means I need to be assertive when I need to be assertive. I need to articulate myself clearly, confidently, precisely. And I need to present myself energetically in a certain way to command attention. Ah! You get me? So this happens layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And it's not BS, right? Not belief system. I mean, it is belief systems, but it's not bullshit. And how do you do that? You put in the reps, right? To build your biceps, to build your muscles, you have to go to the gym. You have to put in the repetitions, right? Physically, you have to change yourself. And affirmingly, you have to affirm yourself in a certain way. Meaning, it has to be believable, okay? This is where people get affirmations incorrect. They just say, I am attracting wealth now. I am happy now. I am so happy and grateful that I'm a millionaire. I have so much money in the bank. Yeah. No, you're fucking broke, all right? You have no money. You're fat. You can't say I'm healthy and be fat. No, it doesn't work that way. To affirm your way into being, you have to feel your way into it, okay? Meaning, it has to be baby steps. It has to be things that your body, your mind can actually believe. As in, the typical cliche, every day, I am doing all of the things that allow me to become more healthy. Or if that's too much for you, it's like I'm focused on all of the knowledge that I need to know to be more healthy day by day. Or I watch and consume all the things that allow me to be healthy. I keep focusing on how I can be healthy. So you say things that are congruent to where you are at life, and you program it step by step, and you increase the weight, you increase the resistance, you increase the power of your affirmations day after day, month after month, year after year, just like you do with weights, all right? So you affirm and recondition yourself that way based on the ideal, which is why it's important to know where you're going, who you are, and what you want to be, okay? And then number 5, habits, which is another form of saying reprogram, reconditioning, because your life right now is accumulation of habits. The moment you wake up, you brush your teeth, you do this, you do that, you think certain thoughts, those are habits. You become aware of your habits and you put in new ones. But you can't try and change too many things at once, like New Year's resolutions, because none of it ends up happening at all, okay? And I want to share with you a quote. The chains of habits are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Powerful, meaning people live their whole life chained to habits, right? They're too light to be felt until one day they wake up at 40, 50, 60, 70 and look back on their life and they see a bunch of cables, a lot of cords chaining them. They're all rickety and old and shrunken up, and they're all with their cane, and they're like, I'm chained. I can't live my life. And then they have to wait until the next lifetime before they can do it all over again, okay, if you believe in reincarnation. A part of me does, and, part of me wants to share this because maybe it's part of my karma too. Okay, so habits. You need to begin to reprogram and condition habits into your life one at a time. And if you don't know how to do this, I shared a video on how to do what you know you should be doing, or watch when you're not in the mood to be doing what you should be doing. Because oftentimes when we try to program in habits, when we try to do what we need to do, we don't feel like it, okay? That's the biggest problem. I don't feel like it. Oh, it's too hard. There's too much resistance. Well, that's the thing. You're either, one, doing too many things. You're trying to do too many things at once. You're too overstimulated. You have no willpower. Or the thing that you're trying to program isn't in line with your ideal, okay? It needs to be something so small, so minute, so easy to accomplish that you can program it every day, same time, at the same day, same time of day, every day for many days in a row. That's how you build a habit. And then once you get enough results doing that, you'll be motivated to build more habits. The better habits you build, the more successful you can become. All right. So I suggest, if you want to know what habits to build, examine which area of your life needs the most work and try to figure out how you can build a habit around that, okay? It's called the keystone habit, the habit that puts everything together. Or you can watch my 6 foundational principles, health principles, and figure out which one of these 6 foundational health principles, like drinking more water, you can make a habit and start feeling results that way, okay? And last but not least, I'm getting hungry. I want some water, damn it. The last thing I'm going to share with you is this: your environment. Your environment is going to play a very, very, very key aspect in whether or not you can change, okay? You can get all of these down, but if you're living in the freaking desert, what are you going to do, right? Or if you're living with a bunch of crabs that are trying to pull you back down when you're trying to go back up or climb out of the bucket, what are you going to do? Meaning, if you're living with family that all they do is run out unconscious program and they are behaving in certain ways that trigger you, they drink soda and they cause you to want to drink soda, or your family or your friends, your roommates always smoke that ganja, that pot, or they always pop pills and goes to the club and goes to the nightclub, and they do things that remind you of who you do not want to become, then you are always going to be dragged down again and again and again. Or if you are always watching things on your phone that remind you of who you do not want to become, then you are going to fall for the same habits again and again and again and again. So can you see how many factors there are when it plays into changing your life? Which is why I was a bit hesitant to say how to finally change your life. Well, you can finally change your life when you have all these 6 things dialed in and on lock, okay? Now, in any given day, you can get all of these down. But on any given day, depending on how much sleep you get, right? Depending on how good your nutrition is, how beautiful that girl or that guy is, depending on how much stress you have in your life, all of this can affect each and every one of these variables, which is why I'm saying get the 6 foundational health right. Get your health right. Get your ideal, your purpose right. And then the rest will fall in suit, okay? The more results I get from creating videos like this, the more feedback I get from doing this, the more that programs my subconscious mind, my self-image, to keep doing the behaviors that are the highest version of myself. So you need to have an ideal. Number 1, you need to be aware of the habits, the behaviors, conditionings that are pulling you back down. And if you don't know why, then you need to know your unmet needs. And if you don't know your unmet needs, you want to watch Tony Robbins' video, or you want to watch my video on how to be happy. And then you need to begin to recondition and reprogram through habits. Number 5, all the good behaviors that you want in your life based on the ideal version of yourself. And then finally, number 6, you need to get the hell out of your environment. You need to change your environment. You need to start surrounding yourself with the people, the places, the things, the images, the videos, the motivational videos that you want inside of your mind, that you want inside of your being, that you want inside of your soul, your heart, right? And when you can get those in place, that is when you can finally change. I'm done, guys. Have a good one. Make sure you like. If you like it, make sure you comment and share this video so that we can help as many people as we can, guys. Have a good one. Peace.